The road between Pound Gap and Mount Sterling has long been held as the gateway between the Appalachian Mountains and the Bluegrass section of the state of Kentucky. Like the Pound Gap, the Federal and Confederate Forces held Mount Sterling at different points during the Civil War. Come along with us as we walk through the city of Mount Sterling and its role in the Civil War. All aboard the Kentucky-Tennessee Living Time Machine. Please fasten your seatbelts and keep your arms and legs inside of the vehicle at all times. Please do not attempt to remove the safety bar while the ride is in motion. But to get going, we need your help. We still need to fire up that time machine to transport us. Please help us by clicking on the like, subscribe, and bell notification buttons down below. Not only does this fire up the time machine, but it convinces the YouTube algorithm that we need a bigger time machine to reach more people who love history as much as you do. Now, back to our story. Why Mount Sterling was important. Because of its strategic location between the mountains of eastern Kentucky and the flatlands of central and western Kentucky, the area was considered a gateway. There were many rich resources that the city had to offer to the Civil War effort. These resources did not escape the attention of both factions of the war. Before the first actual recognized capture of Mount Sterling, there had been several small skirmishes, and the city exchanged hands several times. There are sources that state that the courthouse itself had been captured 12 times before now. The capture of Mount Sterling. On March 22, 1863, Confederate 8th Regiment of the Kentucky Cavalry, with a force of 300 men under the direction of Colonel Roy Stewart, also known as Leroy Kluke. According to the Civil War record websites, this regiment was formed sometime in late summer of 1862 and mustered into service by September of that year, at which time Kluke was named one of its commanders. Kluke had been reinforced by Jack May, who had 800 men under his command. According to the Eastern Kentucky and Civil War website, quote, Special Dispatch from Paris, dated March 22, 1863. Quote, The rebel Colonel Kluke surrounded Mount Sterling, Kentucky at 2 o'clock this morning. Our force, amounting to 200, fought them from the houses for 4 hours, but were finally compelled to surrender. It is believed that Kluke intends to attack Paris tonight, unquote. It is not recorded if the 200 men that were fighting against Kluke was an actual regiment or company, or if they were a disorganized band of men who were protecting their homes. The men who captured Mount Sterling took 438 prisoners, 222 wagon loads of military goods, 500 mules, and 1,000 stand of arms. The total aftermath would be a loss of 8 men killed and 13 wounded for the Confederate side, and 4 men killed and 10 wounded for the Union side of the Civil War. All of the city records were lost when the Confederate troops burned the courthouse to the ground. Kluke's regiment would be captured at Buffington Island on July 19th and New Lisbon on July 26, 1863. It would not be reorganized after this point. Federal Forces occupation. Between October 1863 and May 1864, the Union forces occupied Mount Sterling. However, there is no record of an actual skirmish taking place. The occupation could have taken place because of Kluke and his men being captured that left Mount Sterling abandoned. The troops involved were the Union 21st Massachusetts Infantry and troops under assistance of Quartermaster J.M. Madeline, 37th Kentucky Infantry. The Eastern Kentuckian Civil War reports, quote, a 2-story brick house, a frame building, log house, and shed, all situated on Main Street, the property of John Lindsay and Son, manufacturers of furniture and coffins. The buildings were used as an office and depot for the quartermaster stores and commissary supplies, and as quarters for the troops, unquote. The website will go on to describe how the Ascension Protestant Episcopal Church was turned into a hospital and camping building for the troops. The main rebuilt courthouse was turned into a headquarters. Eastern Kentucky refugees who were driven from their homes by guerrillas and rebel forces would come to Mount Sterling for safety. It would be sometime during May 1864 that Mount Sterling would fall once again into the hands of the Confederacy. We could not find a record of how this happened at this time. However, we will have a separate video for the retaking of Mount Sterling in June 1864. Thank you. We at Kentucky, Tennessee Living would like to thank you for watching our video series on the Appalachian Civil War battles. Don't forget to hit that like button, as the more likes we receive, the more likely YouTube is to suggest our videos to other viewers. Also, to receive notice when we upload a new video, be sure to subscribe and click the bell notification button. We thank you for continuing to support Kentucky, Tennessee Living as we are discovering the mysteries in Appalachian history.